Hello, this video is going to talk through question 131 from chapter 8 that was on the week 5 homework. So this problem told us that public policy polling asked US adults about how they access music. You can tell this problem is a bit old because it talks about downloading music instead of just streaming it. But 80 of the 571 participants admitted to illegally downloading music. And then the problem asks us for a 99% confidence interval for the proportion of all US adults, right? So the whole population, not just the 571 in the study, who have illegally downloaded music. Okay, so let's define our random variables to start. Right, so normally a capital X is what we use to describe our number of successes, right? And what's a success here? It's people who have illegally downloaded music, right? So this is the number of people in our sample who have illegally downloaded music. Right. And instead of number, we can also think of a proportion. That's the capital P prime. So this is the proportion of people in our sample who have illegally downloaded music. Okay. Right. So now we can find some actual values. Right. We have n, our sample size, little x, our actual value of our random variable x, and little p prime, our actual value of capital P prime, our proportion of success. Okay, so let's go back to the problem statement. Our sample size here is how many people were surveyed, how many people participated in the poll. That is the 571. Okay, so n is 571. Okay. Our number of successes, we said, was the number of people who have illegally downloaded music in our sample, right? So that was 80. And P prime basically asks, what percentage of 571 is 80, right? So in general, this is x divided by n, or 80 over 571. This is approximately 14%. Now, the other thing we'll need to use to calculate the confidence interval with our applet is a number of failures. To find that, we take our sample size and we subtract the number of successes. So we do 571 minus 80, and that comes out to 491. Now, this problem didn't ask for this, but some of the others did. What distribution do we use to calculate the interval, the confidence interval? Right. So if we want to be exact about things, we're asking participants for something that's a yes or no question. Have you done this or not? So overall, what we have here is a binomial. But to make things a little bit easier, we can approximate a binomial distribution with a normal distribution if we have enough successes and enough failures, right? So x here is greater than or equal to 5, so we're good to use the normal distribution. And n minus x, our number of failures, is also big enough. So we can approximate with the normal distribution. Right, so now we're looking for the normal distribution with mean p prime and standard deviation p prime is 1 minus p prime over n, all square rooted. So the standard deviation, right? And this part tells us that it's a normal distribution. Right, so here, if we plug our numbers in, this is n. We want to write our proportion here as a decimal. So this is 0.14. This will be the square root of 0.14 times 1 minus 0.14 all over our sample size 571, which is also inside that square root. Right. I'm going to put that into a calculator. Oh dear. Here we go. So we want square root of 0.14 times 1 minus 0.14 all divided by 571, close the square root. Okay, that's going to come out to a standard deviation of about 0.015. Okay, so at this point, we're going to transition to using an applet online to find the confidence interval. So you have to see my calculation for a moment. Okay. So we're going to call our variable downloading music. And I'll say our first category is people who have illegally downloaded music, and we had 80 of those. And then we'll have people who have not downloaded music illegally, and we said we had 491 of those. So first we get a graph showing us, the 14% that have downloaded illegally versus the 86% that have not. And now we can find our confidence interval. So we want this one sample interval. We want illegally to be our successes, right? Because we're trying to find a proportion of people who have downloaded music illegally. And we wanted a 99% confidence interval. So we'll set the confidence level to 99%. And now we'll perform inference. So here is our confidence interval. And it's going between 10.3% and 17.8%. Okay, so what does that actually do? Or what does that actually tell us? Okay. So now we get our 99% confidence interval, right? 10.3% to 17.8%. right? So we can say that we're 99% confident that the percent of US adults who have illegally downloaded music is between 10.3% and 17.8%. And the point estimate here is the value that's right in the middle, but it's also what we got from our sample. It's P prime, right? So this is 14%. Our margin of error, right, is the distance from that point in the middle out to each side, right? So we have 14% here in the middle, 10.3% on the left, and 17.8% on the right. So our margin of error is, say, 17.8 minus 14, right? So it's something like 3.8%, right? If we did 14 minus 10.3 instead, right, that would give us 3.7%. So it's somewhere in there is our margin of error, right? So we could write this same confidence interval as 14% plus or minus 3.8% roughly. Okay, I hope this was useful.